Hello, everybody. I'm back, and this time with an article, an older article from Sci-Fi Wire. I think that's what it's called. I seen this article. I kind of seen this article a long time ago, and I've always wanted to talk about it, but of at that time I wasn't trying to do anything on YouTube or anywhere else. This will also be on Facebook as well. But either way, I wasn't trying to do any sort of work, and I read a little bit of this a long time ago. And if you haven't read already, it says the troubling relationship between anime and the F world. Uh, yeah, I know I'm not big, but I don't feel like saying that just in case YouTube doesn't like it. Either way, let's go on with the article. Just just watched a nice wow. Just wanted to watch a nice anime about encouraging encountering gigantic fruit. What? Uh uh okay. At least that's expo how I was first exposed to. I don't know how to say that. I think I looked that up a little bit. An anime series about an expecto investigating a possible conspiracy to overthrow the government. When the anime first popped up on my social media feeds, the portrayal of fruit enameled and appetized me. I don't get the fruit thing, but okay. And food focused anime, I don't think it's food focused. It's one of my favorite genres. Intrigued, got on the Roku, clicked on Crunchyroll, and started to watch the first episode. Yeah, you can see those characters dressed like that. Do you think, is this a chick? No. Wait, what? I'm bad at reading, so I don't know if that's a chick name or not. Either way, we'll go on. I struggled through that first episode not because the plot was boring, it wasn't, or because the characters were bland. They were actually quite charming. My shallow hang-up was with uniforms. Each governmental worker was clad in a black uniform, stylish and sharp, with a hint of red near the shoulder. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's a circle. 'Cause I think it was a circle on those particular uniforms. And enclosing an echoing an SS uniform. Well, one of the things I will say, which is something that I had learned, again, I shouldn't say again. I did learn it from a YouTube video, so it is very likely that his information was not right. But what he said is that, unlike in America and a lot of other Western countries, the Japanese kids in high school, they learn about World War II, but they don't learn about some of the really egregious things that happened to particular groups of people in World War II that was done by the Germans. And so, because of that, the style of that uniform, and I will agree, you can call me whatever you want, but I know somebody will. One of the 5 people that watch this will probably call me the N word, but uniforms actually are pretty stylish. I always thought they were, even though I knew that they were bad guys. But the Japanese have picked up on that as well, and so you can find that kind of style here and there in anime. They do eventually learn. They do eventually learn about the egregious things that Germany did to particular groups of people in World War II, but that's not learned until until college. And sadly, there are times when, because people in Japan do find those uniforms to be kind of stylish, there are times when young people, without knowing what the meaning or the history behind the uniforms, have dressed up as well, yeah, had dressed up, and then of course the older people, the ones who went to college, which as far as I know of is a lot or most of everybody, they would, well, reprimand the kids, uh, and then maybe they would get to learn a little bit of stuff early. Either way, but I really wanted to explain that, because I do think that's something that's important, and it is a big cultural difference between between at least America and the East. Well, Japan. Either way, going on with the article. This detail, seemingly superficial, I think that's what that word is, yanked me right out of the suspension of disbelief. I would be totally fine with it. Excuse me. In my enjoyment of the anime, the setting is clearly not WW2 era Germany. I don't know the setting, so I can't elaborate on that. Sadly, the characters aren't portrayed as evil, and yet the imagery turned my stomach. Well, you probably need to get a thicker skin. Yeah, you probably need to get a thicker skin. Oh, yes. Maybe after this, I will try to find an article that was about. I know it's older, but I still kind of want to talk about it because it will kind of bleed into this article that was from a long time ago. But I remember that there was an article where I want to say it was a New York anime convention that wanted to ban all all cosplay that could be taken as being in the style of the WW2 Germany uniforms, either being the special officers or even just an infantryman or a captain, something like that, trying to cover my bases. And since I've been watching Temple a lot, I'm going to try to censor some of the things in the same way Temple does. Okay, okay, I read that. Like I said, it dawned on me that I wouldn't feel comfortable seeing people cosplay as these characters, and I deleted the series. Well, I wouldn't care if I seen people cosplay as those characters. I've seen plenty of. I mean, I don't know if any of them were American or white. I'm assuming that they were Japanese, but I've been on Facebook. I've seen several people who have cosplayed as Tanya from Tanya the Evil. I think it's called Saga of Tanya the Evil, something like that. And a little bit of background with that, which probably go into the other article if I can find it. She is a character who is uh, she is in the a German-esque country's military, doing what seems to be WW1, but maybe WW2. Now that I think about it, either way, but I didn't find it egregious. I thought the character was cute. She's just an evil little girl. You gotta watch the anime. Okay. I see that. Was my reaction pretty? I don't know what the person means by was my reaction pretty, or is that petty? I don't know if it was petty, but definitely you need to get a thicker skin if that bothers you so much. Should I have just powered through? Yeah, you should have just powered through. Even if the uniforms offended me, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've watched an anime where there's this gay guy, there's a gay guy, and I'm not particularly wanting to see a gay guy in my anime, or a guy who's dressing up like a woman if it's not done in a comedic way, or at times seeing little bit characters in the background dressing with men dressing up like women. At least I know the anime that's dubbed here in America, a lot of it, at least a lot of what I have watched, those kinds of characters are done in comical ways, at least. So even though I may not like to see those characters, I know that at least maybe from the creators, yeah, from the creators' point of view, the people who either adapted the work or made it, that they're not trying to make a political statement. Although Funimation uh, probably might be in a way, but yeah, even though I don't like seeing those kinds of things, I mean, another thing that's less a political issue would be blood. Sometimes I like to watch some anime, and at times, even though I don't like to see a whole bunch of blood or guts, as that happens too, I don't think I see it as often anymore. But I don't like to see that either. But if the story is really good, if I really like the characters, I will just grin and bear it, and go on. Wow. Either way, okay. Other anime fans were able to watch this without getting upset. So why couldn't I? Well, because you need a thicker skin. Perhaps more importantly, why do a considerable number of anime series have still in World War II faction esque? Well, I'm assuming she means S uniforms, and I explained that up top at the beginning. So, oh wow, I don't know why I felt like doing that. So if you want to know the explanation, go towards the beginning of the video. Okay, what is up with anime and the F word? One of the most popular anime series in recent years, Attack on Titans, takes place within the walled city. Those citizens were dominated by a militaristic government. Well, that's not the F word kind of government. That's a militaristic government, or I don't remember what the D&D books called it. But there's an actual word for a government that's ran by the military. But either way, I don't remember. The main characters, somebody giggle, joins the elite army corps, tasked with the destruction. Yeah, they killed a giant people. The Titans. The government controls every aspect of life within the city and spreads propaganda praising the military. Well, yeah, but even a non-F word government still spreads propaganda. I mean, just look at the government in China. They are not a F word. They are not a F word government. They are a communist government, or at least that's part of the name of the political party. But they spread all sorts of propaganda, and they are not an F word government. So just saying that some places spreading propaganda, I think, is a mute point. I mean, even during WW2, all of the major powers spread propaganda of some sort, vilifying the other side. So just yeah. Uh, let's get off that rabbit hole. The guy seeking vengeance for losing his mother to the big people completely buys into the core's kill 'em all rhetoric. I haven't seen the anime, so I can't dispute any of this. Attack on Titan takes place in a F state. I don't know. Fullmetal Alchemist, one of the most beloved. Yep. Fullmetal Alchemist is awesome. Edward Elric has the most awesomest voice actor, Vic Mignogna. Look him up on Wikipedia and watch some more of his shows, more of the stuff he's been in. It's set in, I don't remember how to say the world, but yeah, it is a German-esque nation, and I think there was a map that showed in the anime, and it kind of looks like it was almost where Germany was too, on the map. Yeah, it's militaristic. To add to the fun, the leader is called the Fuel. Yeah, broadly, this connection is made more oval to the Fullmetal Alchemist movie. Haven't seen the movie. Still need to finish. Still need to finish at least one of the anime. 50 episodes is quite a lot. When the plot reveals that it's an alternative reality Germany. Oh, well, thank you for spoiling it for me. And a certain World War II general makes an appearance. I'm assuming this is a certain World War II general. Okay. In full-on anime form, well, this isn't the only time. I mean, what? Two examples I know of. I think Persona 2. Persona 2. I don't remember if it's the final boss. Don't think it's the final boss. Persona 2, the video game. That World War II general makes an appearance. In the Japanese, they called him by his actual name in the game, and in the well, in the localization that was done, he was called just by the title. And another one he showed up in that was relatively recent was Drifters. That was Madhouse Bones. I don't remember. But yeah, yeah. Okay, the long-running Mobile Suit Gundam. Yeah, I do remember one of the final episodes. One of the guys from Xeon actually made a reference to made a reference to the particular World War II general. Gosh, goodness, I need to start doing these later. I mean earlier. Almost always features an antagonist, someone based on a I don't know that word. WW2 era Germany, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I don't know that one. Talia. Well, that's just Talia's a comedy, so yeah. Long suffering Germany as the main character. Well, I thought Italy was the main character, not Germany. I've only watched. Well, I watched quite a bit of one of them, but I thought Italy was the main character, not Germany. And Germany seemed to be a pretty chill guy. Makes me think more of Putin. This is one that I really wanted to talk about when I first saw this. One of my favorite anime, Girls und Panzer. Yeah, I really want to tear them for this one. This one makes me a bit upset. Okay. Okay. And they're going on about, yeah, that he's blonde hair, blue eyed. Well, you can take that as you will. I just took Germany looking like that and Hetalia as him being somebody from the West. They do it all the time in anime. Nordic features, characters are paraded about. It's even worse when these themes are packaged in the overly cute moe girls. Yeah, girls in pencil. It is cute. The girls are really cute. Is one of my personal favorites. Is one of my personal favorites too. Probably not for the same reasons that this chick or dude, whoever, uh, this person's probably a big raging person. I don't. No. Okay. Let's not censor this part. Not I'm thinking that I'm going to get picked up for it. But I imagine this person is a big feminist. Okay. And so they really liked it because they saw it as girl power and all of that. And sure, there's some of that, I guess, just not in a way that feminism really wants to do it. Either way, on with the thing. It depicts an alternate world with simulated tank. Warfare is a casual sport with young women called tankery. Well, that's what it's called in the anime. It's called tankery. Participate in multinational. No, it's when I first watched it, I thought that it was different countries that were doing. Yeah, when I first watched the anime, I thought that it was different countries that were competing, but it's not. I mean, I do think the anime does allude that there are world championships, world nationals, but at least in the anime, all the characters, except for the movie, all the schools that all of the schools that are having the takeaway matches, they are all high schools, and all of these high schools, other than the main school, has a national theme to it. Like one of them is a German theme, one of them is a Soviet Russian theme, one of them is a Italy theme, and another one is a British theme. And then eventually there is a Japanese themed one that shows up in the movie, but the main school is not doesn't have a national theme. If you actually look at well, actually I'll say it a little bit earlier. I mean later on because yeah. Young woman each to destroy each other in slam combat. Wait, what? I have no clue. It subverts the ideal of a masculine military, but the ragtag high school group, the the one you're supposed to root for, uses a Panzer IV, a WW2 era German medium tank. A little bit of trivia for you if you didn't know. It's a medium tank. These tanks used to go around across the fields of Europe. Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. I have a feeling that this person is thinking that during WW2, the Germans made a whole bunch of tanks, which they did make a lot of tanks, but the thing about the Panzer IV, well, I should say about Germany during that time, they didn't do a very good job. So she may be thinking they didn't do a very good job with making their tanks and their vehicles serviceable. Unlike us Americans who were smart and made our Sherman fours. I think it's a Sherman four. Our Sherman's really good to service, really easy to service. Germany didn't do that, so Germany did not make a whole bunch. I mean, they probably made a lot of tanks, but they didn't make. It wasn't like the whole fields of Europe were just dotted with Panzer IVs. Uh, Either way, these tanks used to, vanquishing everything in its path, and the disillusion between the tank blowing up stuff while being piloted by his is at once delightfully empowering and oddly disturbing. I didn't care anything about it. I had to actually look up. I actually had to look up the Panzer IV and the other tanks. I still enjoyed the heck out of it. Well, good, because the female friendship. Yeah, this person's a feminist. This person's a feminist. But yeah, I mean, one of the themes was working together as a team. Because one of the things they will tell you, and I look kind of red. One of the things they do tell you in the anime is that you have to have a crew, and each crew has, well, they got to do stuff, and so does the blowing up stuff. Well, one of the things I wanted to say about Girls in Pencil was that if you actually look at all the tanks, unlike all the other high schools in the anime, Girls in Pencil, the tanks of Ori, hopefully I'm saying that right, all the tanks of Ori, they're all from different places. There's the obvious Panzer IV, the German tank, but there's others, and not all of them are German. There is a German at school that they do eventually go and have a match against, and all of those tanks are German tanks. But and just like all the other schools, all of those tanks are from the particular national theme that the school has. But I really wanted to talk about the Girls in Panzer. Okay, Strike Witches and Contact Collection, hopefully I'm saying that right, also demonstrate this bizarre disillusion between cute and disturbing, well, no, characters who represent planes and battleships. Well, Strike Witches, they don't represent planes. They're just characters in an alternative WW2 era where they fight aliens instead of people. And in Contact Collection, I don't think, I mean, I don't know a lot of the ships in Contact Collection, but I would not. I mean, the only ship I know for sure that was definitely a ship playing for a ship that would be considered a plane for the bad guys with the Yamato. Yamato. Yeah, I remember that World War ship ad. You finally get to see the Yamato. But yeah, that one. The only that's the only one that I know for sure played for the bad guys. And I don't even think it found much action during WW2 either. And plunged into, will Japan rewrites history and becomes more victorious? I don't know if I would agree that the reason why something like Strike Witches or Contact Collection came about was so that Japan would make themselves look more good. Oh yes, and something to add to this, an anime that came out, called Azure Lane, which is kind of like Contact Collection, where there are personified, or at least I think they're personified, ship waifus, personified versions of ships, and Japan, the ships that would be considered Japanese inspired ships, they're actually evil. They're actually the bad guys. They may not be the main bad guys, because as far as I know of, there's still a lot there's still some things going on with the story, but the Japanese themed ships, goodness, they always have to do stuff. The Japanese themed ships, they are the bad guys. The German themed ships are the bad guys too, but and then the good guys are British themed ships, and it looks like American themed ships, and it looks like for the most part, at least from what I read, from what I had watched. I think I've watched up to episode 5 already. But what I had seen, they show a lot from the viewpoint of the British and American ships. I gotta rub my eye. Okay. These cute girls are at the reins of these powerful weapons of war, but their agenda focuses on friendship and fair play. Well, contact collection. As far as I know of the enemies, they don't really communicate with, at least not in the anime. Strike Witches. There was a hint that the aliens could be something. Friendship, yeah, there's definitely that in both those. But does that lack of evil forgive all the disturbing details? What disturbing details? Are you talking about the history that it's based off of? Well, I would say it was only used as a base or inspiration. It wasn't used as to be something to be reenacted. And gosh, this video is going on for a while already. That tells you how much I really wanted to talk about this. Okay. Is this issue solely in the realm of military anime? Nope. The cultural anime Food Wars has a storyline featuring an elite group of... I haven't watched Food Wars, so I may not be able to say much about this group of chefs who feel contamination of the cooking world by others who don't ascribe... Yeah, I think I read that right. Ascribe to the traditional techniques. Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep tradition. The agenda involves teaching all aspiring cooks to make the exact same thing, the exact same way, without wiggle room for yes. I don't think Food Wars is an F anime. I do not think Food Wars is an F anime. No, I do not. I do not think Food Wars. I do not. And they're probably only saying that because that kind of ideal, that kind of ideology is viewed as a right-leaning ideal, and part of possibly being on the right is that you value tradition, and valuing tradition is a good thing. But at the same time, of course, you need to eventually not so much move on, but maybe change. But there's nothing wrong with keeping traditions, and there's nothing wrong with adapting. There has to be something within the Japanese cultural landscape which leads to itself to these narrations popping up. To answer this, it's important to focus on how Japanese portrays itself in its own media narratives. Well, yeah, I mean, I used to watch Doctor Who all the time, and one of the things that I eventually was able to notice was that in Doctor Who, they definitely tried to portray Britain as a really good country. I don't want to go there. On the surface, Japan seems to adore its own history. Well, of course it does. Japan is very, well, I was going to say conservative, but traditional in ways. It's very traditional. Samurai dramas are popular, but there's one era which never received much attention. WW2, Ghibli's Grave of the Fireflies does depict the horrors of post-war Tokyo in graphic details. I haven't seen it. Uh, Trying to think if I could think of any anime other than that one that shows it, that's supposed to be from WW2 era, but I can't really think of it. Some of it I really only think of WW1, but I don't think Japan had anything to do with that. But one example I did think of that might work is called Godsick. And at the end, well, spoiler, sorry, but no. I'll say it like this. At the end, I feel they did a good job of it's not about WW2, just the ending. Alludes to WW2, but I think it helps to humanize the people who were fighting on the other side. Because I do remember seeing something a while back about Germany wanting to get rid of the World War II monument that's dedicated to their own German soldiers. And I've always thought that it's a good thing that they have that, because unlike Extra Credit, which is a channel which is a YouTube channel that talks about video games, unlike them, unlike they would want you to believe, not every German soldier was somebody who was a part of that political party or shared those ideals. I would imagine that there were a lot of them who were good men who were protecting their country. And they may have been afraid of what would happen if they were to abandon or defect to the good side. But yeah, the spectral horrors of the conflict, the systematic ignoring of, during World War II, wow, damn, I finally said it. But yeah, during WW2, Japan invaded China. Yeah, Japan invaded China. They invaded China and did really horrible things. And the sad thing, it looks like they're going to go into it, so I'll let them say it. And the denial of the existence of the of the women are clear examples of the country's inability to take responsibility for its troubled past. I want to agree, but at the same time, I want to say that maybe because as far as I know, there are Japanese politicians who have wanted to say stuff who have wanted to apologize on behalf of Japan for those things, but the other people really shoot them down. The atrocious penetration by the Japanese military of that era are barely acknowledged. Well, I will say I do know that there are some American movies that do talk about it a bit. As far as the Japanese people themselves, I can't say. Which leads to a F word with that era. I don't know. And since Japan struggles with its own history as an imperial state, really? Okay. I don't see. Okay. The interest falls instead on World War II Germany. Wow, that sounded weird. And its iconography. Japan, unfortunately, is still very xenophobic. It's not so much that it's xenophobic. They do want people to come. It's just that if you come, just like a lot of right-leaning Americans will say, is that if you come, you're expected to eventually be more like us. Because, yeah, yes, yes, I think that's the best way to say it, is that, yeah, and it has a difficult time accepting immigrants, even if it solely needs them. Solely needs them, well, not so much that they need immigrants, it's that if they're going to take you, you're going to be somebody who's going to be a net gain. Yeah, I'll say it again, somebody who's going to be a net gain to the government, to the system. Because one of the things about Japan is that it's very collectivist, to where if you step out of line or you say something, you might get reprimanded. Not legally, of course, for the most part. I think most things, as far as speaking, you're not going to get reprimanded as far as legally, unlike maybe in America you may. They're just going to say they're just going to say something to you. Uh, the country struggles to maintain a workforce with its dwindling population. Well, yeah, it is below replacement level as far as I know. Most women are focusing on their careers instead of a family, which will eventually result in no new workers. Well, of course. To replace the retiring one, the country needs immigrants, which could cause I don't know that our world. Uh, Among Japanese citizens, this controversial reactionist environment is ripe for creating and supporting media which fears foreigners. Well, I don't want to say that they're afraid of foreigners, although I did watch a YouTube channel. It was a long time ago, and it was just an anecdotal example that the guy gave. Well, not the posting the YouTube video, but there. Okay, I'll just say it. Apparently, I think it was a temple or something, and you're supposed to pay to get into the temple to do all the sightseeing. And the guy who's supposed to collect the fees, oh goodness, I'm talking way too much. The guy who's supposed to collect the fees, he didn't collect fees from some people, mostly foreigners, because he sadly found them a bit scary. Although I will say, in Japan, the national, at least from Google, the last time I looked it up, the I think the average height of men is only like a little over 5 feet. Unlike in a lot of Western countries, like my uncle, you can find people who are 6 feet or almost 6 feet. But yeah. Uh, oh goodness. Supports in all reacting totalitarian. Well, no, and they don't celebrate the military. One thing, Japan does not have an actual standing army. What it has is a defense force. It is more akin, as far as I know, to a national guard than a standing army. There's an eagerness towards nostalgia, towards past glories, towards reminiscing about Japan as an old powerful empire. I don't know, I mean, maybe. How long does this? Gosh. Okay, well, we're going to go through this, and I'm going to talk about everything that I can. And then this will probably be the only video I make that day, whenever this goes out. Now I lost my place. Oh, here we are. Japanese solely elevates and praises women who are submissive, delicate, and willing to whatever to men and all things. No, 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 no. No, that that is totally not true. Japan wants people to work. Japan wants women to do well. But one thing that Japan really needs right now is babies. They really need babies, and they would much prefer to have Japanese babies, native ethnic Japanese babies. And so it is common to see an anime where an older woman is being pestered by her mom to get a man and settle down. And it's not because the mom wants, and it's not because the mom wants her older daughter, who might be at least past 25. We'll just go with that number for now. Who's at least older than 25 to settle down is because there is a certain joy that I would believe most women would find from being mothers. Even sadly, if it happens to be just part-time mothers, which I know is a bad way to say it, but but I just like here in the states, I do not believe the Japanese government wants women to abandon all inhibition to have a career. And one thing I will say is that there are a lot of women, a lot of young women in Japan, a good a good a good percentage of women in Japan who want to actually be a housewife. That's what that's what their job that's what they want their job to be. They want to be a housewife. And there is a mass, mass there's a vast majority of young women who want to be housewives. Uh but yeah, it's no wonder that some alt writers gravitate. Well, no, 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 no. If anything, anime is definitely a bit more progressive. Is a bit more of a progressive media because as I had said earlier, it's not as I had as I had yeah as I had said earlier. In anime, you can find men who are dressed up as women, and you can find at least a lot of lesbian couples or lesbian acts done in anime. Anime as a medium, even though it comes from a country that may be more traditional and possibly more conservative, Japan, I mean, no, the anime medium, the things that are made are pretty progressive as far as American standards are. I mean, like I said, you can find cross dressing of men, some who want to be called women, so possible trans women at that point too. You can find a lot of nudity, and one of the things that the left in America has been kind of very adamant, had been very vocal about, especially since the '60s. It's women being more wow, I can't talk. Is women showing more, having conquest like men in the bedroom. In anime actually shows some of that. There are quite a few anime and also manga. There are quite a few characters, quite a few women. There are quite a few women in anime and manga in Japanese medium who are carnivores, who are the ones who are going to go and get the man instead of the man going to get them. Either way, gosh, this article, it doesn't make me angry. They just don't know. My avatar is a dog, just so you know. I'm a big anime guy, but the avatar I use uh, on my on my personal Facebook account, it's a dog. It's a boxer. I I don't have a Moe anime girl. And as far as the picture I have for my page on Facebook, which you should totally go to, it's it's AU79 Gaming. You should totally go to that on Facebook after this. There will be a link in the description if I can figure out if I have the right link, which hopefully I do. Uh, but that's a gamer guy for the avatar for that. To depict the sort of girl they want instead of those uppity feminists. Well, yeah, I don't want to date a feminist. Not at all. What man truly wants to date a feminist? Anime girls don't talk back. Well, okay, okay. They don't talk back because they're not real. Duh. Okay. After all, and many moe characters aren't shown in relationships unless the show is specifically a romantic anime. Well, I think that goes into idol culture, which the idols. Or, okay, how do I say this? I think that goes into idol culture, where the girls are supposed to be perceived as being there for the fans. Yeah, as being there for the fans. The show specifically romantic, filling them, freeing them for waifu status. You don't have to be a single lady in anime to not be a waifu. Outside of the cute personalities and the looks, likes, and dislikes, mole girls are considered a blank slate ready for love and totally certain World War II faction memes. I don't know. I mean, if I can find any that are funny, I might actually post them to the Facebook page. Perhaps it's the something disillusioned, no, disoriented, no, damn, I don't know that word. That appeals the most. The idea that such big-eyed, soft-featured characters could harbor such hateful, angry beliefs is is handcrafted for the internet, where irony goes to die. Oh my gosh, that just ah. While acknowledging that lots of anime can appear to be F-word, what can be done to make sure that these shows aren't idolizing it? Most of the shows I mentioned depict the main characters fighting against those forces. Attack on Titan, the guy from it and his friends are attempting to uncover a military conspiracy. Full Metal Alchemist, how a botched military invasion on a neighboring country, populated by brown people, yeah, would have a different religion than the white folks. Well, I don't know if I would quite go with that way. I mean, they do have a different religion, but as far as I know of, the actual country is mostly atheist, or at least it's perceived that way. Shows government corruption. F-word in anime becomes a problem when fans glorify it and emulate. I don't think any fans are glorifying or emulating it. These clearly evil characters. No, I mean, if you want to dress up as an evil guy, then go ahead. I don't care. After all, there are tons of Stormtrooper cosplayers from Star Wars, but do any of them actually believe that the Empire was right? I don't think so, and I imagine, gotta say it another time, I imagine that all the anime fans who may cosplay as somebody evil in an anime from a possible F country, uh, they don't believe in it either. Maybe that's not the greatest example. Of course, it's not the greatest example. It's a non-example for the most part. So, is there any need for the characters being in those uniforms? Well, of course, you answer it. No, they don't need to be that way, but that's what the artist wanted. And if that's what the artist wanted, then that's what's going to be there. And I am totally fine with that. The uniforms don't seem to be involved in any plot points. Well, it's a uniform. Why would it be? But why have it at all? Why even attempt to invoke it when the entry might? Well, that's subjective. That is completely subjective. Because to me, it doesn't invoke certain World War II faction imagery. Well, of course it did for you, conjuring negative connotations. It only seems as if the manga creator just liked the aesthetic, and perhaps, like in those memes, there's a fun sense of irony in this distinguishing between sympathetic characters and SS-esque uniforms. Well, yeah, I think that sums it up. People in Japan just find that aesthetic of the uniforms kind of snappy. And I sadly do too. Well, I shouldn't say sadly. I do too. But I'm not going to cosplay of anything like that. But irony and this political. Well, yeah, that's true. Because as Tim Pool has pointed, and I think several other people on YouTube has pointed out, if the left in the United States takes everything, well, I shouldn't say everything, takes a lot of things like jokes very literally. If you say somebody is that as a joke, they're going to believe that you are actually saying that that person is that as not a joke. Okay. Will I return? No, I already know you're not going to. I guess I accidentally skipped the stuff up there. Oh well. Will I continue to watch anime? Well, good, you're going to. Just hope you don't make any more trash about it. Art is as much about interpretation as about awful intention. Well, yes. I took, as far as I know, it was a kind of humanities class over at the local college and community college, and that was what the teacher told me. It was that if it invokes an emotion, it is art. And if I'm upset that something echoes an era, oh goodness, doing this late. Excuse me, it's 9 o'clock right now. Or a political belief I find troubling, I can make a choice to not watch it. Well, yeah, you can make a choice to not watch it, but how about you don't scream about it either? Anime has so many subgenres that it's entirely possible to watch anime without a hit of the F-word ideals, and fans should still call out problematic things when they see it. Well, sure, but maybe not make a campaign to get something canceled. It's the only way to make sure the media we consume is diverse and inclusive. No, it's not. Because what you are suggesting with that is that you take out all the bad things and only things that you find to be good and right and righteous, which I think I just used an acronym. Wow, I don't even think I used the right word. But you only want us to see the things you approve of. And that is not a diverse or an inclusive way of watching things. If you're going to cancel something that you don't like, as the main character of Ponderosa once said, I'd much rather be a pig than an F-word. Ugh, holy hell, that took a long time. Took a full hour. Wow. If you happen to be here still, one of the 5 people, one of the 2 people, one of the 1 people who happen to be here, thank you. And give this a like if you are here. And if you happen to be here and not like it all the way at the end, then okay. But tell me how to do something better. And just like I said earlier, come to the AU79. Wow, I always blink on the name since I'm not used to blinking all the time. The AU79 gaming page on Facebook. Come and see some videos where these are archived other gaming videos. If you're not subscribed to the actual gaming YouTube channel. Gosh, I got it mixed up again. Either way, thank you for watching. Give it a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, then give it a dislike and tell me how to make it better. And hopefully you will come and join me on the Facebook page. And with that, I will bid you adieu, and I hope you have a good day.